Welcome to Wrestle Line, the show that kicks arse and takes names every time. Hosted by John Scott and Matt Essex.
Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome to another episode of Wrestle Line. And this week, lots to talk about, mainly from Saturday, I guess is the big one really. Myself and Matt were in completely different locations, completely different shows as well. Yes, we're going to be talking all things from my end locally from DKW Academy. Big shout out to those guys. Also, what about Matt's experience in New Japan Wrestling? He went to Royal Quest. We'll hear about his experience from that. I'm looking forward to hearing what he's got to say. And then we were also treated in the UK over in Cardiff for NXT UK TakeOver. And that was followed by AEW All Out back in Chicago, back in stateside. So it was just a crazy... and I mean crazy long Saturday, and normally it's Sunday for all wrestling, but this time it was Saturday. And Matt, want to bring you in there. How are you doing? And from your, are you still tired, or are you back with us now after your time up in London?
I'm doing very well, thanks. Although it was a tiring weekend, to be fair. You know, I've definitely felt a bit drained, but I managed to get up to date with the wrestling, which is incredible because there was quite a lot. I'm sure a lot of people out there still haven't caught up.
No, it was well, I managed to do a very good job with it, but only because it took some very careful planning in how to do it. But yeah, I wasn't too bad. So okay, well, I'll start my end, Matt, because we'll go in sort of chronological order of when they all started then, shall we? And obviously, I did tell everyone and all our listeners that we had, of course, Lucas Jackson on last time on the show, and he was talking about his two back-to-back weekend events in Essex here, local to us. And, you know, we thought for the podcast and obviously Wrestle Line in general for our YouTube channel, you know, why not start to make a presence in Essex, our own sort of hometown. So it was really good to go down there. First one I went to was Westcliff-on-Sea, and it was called Funhouse, and I got to see a lot of interesting matches, stuff that I even thought I was sort of a little bit surprised to see, especially in the sort of hardcore sense. Had some was treated to some thumbtacks and all sorts, and I was quite surprised. You know, I thought it was just going to be sort of ha family type stuff, and he's behind you kind of stuff going on. But no, I was really surprised in a good way, and I got to see Taylor Essex, who I know Lucas Jackson had mentioned a bit about him on our show, and I've got to say I was very, very impressed with him. I have to say also the last match of Ian Frost as well took place, and that was quite a little emotional kind of moment with him in the ring. But yeah, I mean, overall, fantastic show. And then, of course, Saturday I got to go to Langdon, which was just literally like 2 minutes up the road for me. It's got to be like the shortest journey to a wrestling event ever. And man, I'll tell you, now I know lots of people, you know, when they go and see things for themselves, they always hype it up a lot. But I don't want to come across like that, because I know that people will think I am. But I'm 100% telling you, this show, and by the way, we're not in any sort of like affiliation with them. We're not getting any money from them to say this, okay? But I'm speaking purely as a wrestling fan and somebody that's covering wrestling. The quality of this show. I don't know how much the tickets were on the night, but man, you got your money's worth. Easily got your money's worth. This was like the most intimate setting ever, and every match had its own little part to it. Like, there wasn't one thing in there where I thought, oh, they've just sent a match out for the sake of having a match. Like, it was so well done. And yeah, some of the talent on the hand were absolutely brilliant. Like the storytelling that was going on in the ring, just absolutely first class. So I want to give like a massive nod to DKW Academy. It's really well run. The great thing as well, I managed to get quite a few interviews down there. So for anybody that wants to check them out, they're going to be on our WrestleLine channel in the next few days. A couple of them are already up, but and also I have like a kind of an exclusive on a main event, and I'm kind of like, even for you, Matt, I think you're gonna be like be interested to see it, because I know I've hyped it up a bit to you sort of off air, but like it was pretty decent stuff. I think you'd be surprised with what you're seeing in this, considering the intimate setting that it was. You know, it was just, honestly, it was like really, really good stuff. But I don't want to give too much of that away, because, you know, again, that's going to be for our YouTube channel. I did do a full review on it as well that's going to be coming soon. But overall, my experience and takeaway from both weekends was just, you know, run so professionally. I was not expecting it to be that high level, I've got to be honest with you. So my hat's off to them. And, you know, as I was there, probably, you know, later on in that evening, Matt, you had already made your way up to London, I believe. Although you were a little bit delayed as well, I think. I don't know.
It's always going to happen. I mean, the train line was closed, had to go on a different line.
No.
So, you know, there's always something, but it's easy to work around. The Copper Box Arena, where we went to, though, was surprisingly good. You know,
Yeah.
I'm surprised not more venues choose to use that, because it was really good for a wrestling venue. And, you know, about 6,000 people there. You know, it's not bad.
Yeah, it looked, I mean, photos always make it look bigger, but it did look big when you sent me the photo. Like, it looked like a decent size.
It was by no means sold out.
No.
I mean, they may have said it was, but you could tell there was some quite a few empty seats around the place scattered about. Maybe people couldn't make it for some reason, or for what other reason, but there was a fair few empty seats. Maybe the trains played a part of that as well. I don't know.
Yeah, for anybody that wants to check out photos from actually both of our shows, they're all up in our gallery on the website, wrestleline.co.uk. But, yeah, Matt, I mean, tell us about the experience. I mean, New Japan coming over to the UK. I mean, we spoke about the card last time, which was just quality top to bottom. What was your, I mean, I just want to sort of ask questions as if I'm sort of interviewing you here, Matt, but putting you on a spot a little bit. But when you went inside, was there a different feel to the atmosphere of people for a show like that? Or did you sense, because I know, like, you know, when we go to WWE shows or Progress or Ring of Honor, you know, they all have their different flavours, but was there a uniqueness to sort of going in there for the first time that was different, or anything that was really odd, or as it was all sort of being laid out?
Yeah, it's funny the way you said it, actually. It is almost like every time you go to a different wrestling promotion, there's a different energy about it. And this was a more mature audience, I'd say, and definitely like mostly consisting of men. There's not many children there or anything like that, and even like when the wrestling matches were underway, there wasn't too much noise being made. It's almost like being in Japan watching it. I mean, yeah, there was some chants because we're in England, you know, that's what we're going to do, so you said like cheer for your favourite wrestler, but there was nothing disrespectful. There's none of that stuff you might see down at NXT, for instance, like NXT UK. You know, it was the audience seemed to be very tame from this one.
Wow, that's pretty crazy. I mean, yeah, I get that most people that went there are huge New Japan fans, like you would be, and if you get to see them come over, it's like, what an honour. But it's crazy to think they're keeping that code as well of their conduct, you know, on how doing it. But it's kind of cool, because that is what the New Japan is, you know, they bring that culture over. It must have been quite a big thing for the performers to be out there as well, to have that similar thing. I'm sure they didn't get that when they went to the US. I'm pretty sure it would have been like, you know, very alien to them. And as far as like the presentation went, was it pretty flowing there, Matt? I mean, did they do a good job with sort of like in between the matches? Was there anything like different that they did that you saw?
You know, actually pretty seamless. We've been to numerous sort of WWE shows where we've seen them filming and how much they work it towards the camera and that. And, you know, they would be filming this, but it was going from one match to the next pretty seamlessly. There was no gaps of waiting around, or they have to change this, or someone has to get in the ring and film or something. None of that. It was just like in and out, get one match done, next match continues. I mean, they had a lot to get through, and all the matches went on for a decent length. So it's like they headed down to a final, the way they handled that.
Yeah, sounds it. What was your takeaway on what some of the better matches on there that you enjoyed, Matt? Was it all pretty decent, or was there like some that really stood out for you on the night?
I can't recommend like New Japan enough to people.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you get a chance to go see it, definitely go see it, because when you go there, you see all of the top stars. It's not like you're going to see half of them because there's some sort of brand split or something like that going on. It's like, no, they go heavy. They bring all of their top guys. Mm-hmm. Of course, I definitely enjoyed seeing Will Ospreay, of course, because he's one of our own here from down in Essex. So great to see him. And he surprisingly gelled really well with his tag team partner. I was very surprised about that. So it's good to see that that he's making an impact no matter whether he's singles or in tag team competition. So that was a good one. And of course, seeing them win, always a good thing. Great to see Naito as well, because he's one of my favourites down there. So good seeing him. But for me, favourite match, Tanahashi and Zack Sabre Jr. Definitely, hands down, my favourite one that night. And I don't want to give away spoilers, but this is a review, so I'm gonna
that's fine.
Who wins there? It is Tanahashi. Tanahashi wins the UK Championship, and that was surprising for me. I thought like they were going to go and play towards the home crowd and everything, but man, people were well behind Tanahashi anyway. So that was great to see. The living legend that he is, and that was a decent length for a match as well, 17 minutes plus on that one. So, and of course, the main event, everyone's come to see Okada back in his full Rainmaker attire, back with that gimmick. It's like he's never lost it, and he's looks brilliant with that title. I hope he holds on to it for a long time like he did before. His challenger Suzuki, he's no joke either, is he? He's pretty decent. So I did enjoy that, and I thought that was a great match. It went on for a long time as well, 33 minutes. Wow. So that was a long old match. But it wasn't boring at any point. Yeah.
How long was the entire show for? Do you know roughly? Sort of.
It was standard, like 3 hour kind of thing. But that's what I'm saying. That they had a lot to get through, but they sort of packed it. They knew that once one match was done, they'd get the next one in. It was very streamlined and very easy to watch. I don't think it was boring at any point at all.
Amazing. So that sounds pretty different for me. I mean, with regards to Okada, like to see him in the flesh, did he look like what everybody says, like a top star? Like, sometimes you see them in presence and there's a big difference. Did he come across that to you there, Matt?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Even when he does his pose, and you get that like wide angle shot. Yeah. Even when he does that, you're sitting in the arena. You don't get that, but you get that feeling of like, whoa, this guy's he's pulling out all the stops. And definitely, 100%, he is a main event guy, and you can see why he's hit the status that he has. I don't want to say he makes like other people look average, but you can see he's on a whole different level.
Yeah, it's crazy the way like New Japan, like the way they work up the rankings there. There's just such a massive, like a great tier system that works, because everyone was like, oh, if Nakamura goes, we're in trouble. If AJ Styles goes, we're in trouble. If Kenny Omega goes, we're in trouble. But like, because of their great academy down there, I mean, it's not called an academy, but you know what I mean, like a dojo. They make these guys literally scrub the floor when they're doing that stuff, clean the boots. It's such a respectful thing going on. And even Nakamura at one time was like that. But because of that system, Matt, it works so perfectly that there is always another person waiting in the wings at any given moment to fill that void,
Yeah, and like I said before, Los Ingobernables had their match, and they won, Naito and Sonata. And then later on in the night, Sonata comes out and challenges Okada, and the audience is proper up for that as well. Yeah. So it's like the next challenger has arrived, and everyone's already looking forward to it. So it's like they, even though it was in the UK, they're still building towards their other pay-per-views that they're going to hold in New Japan, in Japan itself.